Ever since the launch of Helldivers 2, I've become enamored with the idea of a super destroyer, a relatively small flagship with enough power to level a town or possibly even a city. The flagship of the Helldivers, and in my personal opinion, one of the coolest sci-fi ship designs I've seen in several years. But as much as I love it, I do feel like they're one of the weaker aspects of Helldivers 2, since there's no way to customize it other than really names and modules. Once all the ships reach max level, they all feel the exact same. So I had a few ideas of what I think a Super Destroyer update might look like for Helldivers 2, and I wanted to share them with you guys. I've broken it down into three sections, which are all time-stamped for your viewing pleasure, and those three are physical changes, crew allocation, and R&D department. The first thing I want to address with a Super Destroyer customization update is the actual physical customization of a Super Destroyer. This update should allow Helldivers to truly make their ship their own, and to achieve that, I do believe we need to be able to customize our ships. Lights, walls, and hollow map colors should all be changeable, and while I would like a full customization into colors, I do think it would be more likely that they just become Warbond themed. So for example, we'd have red and black for Truth Enforcers, a jungle camo theme for the Viper Commandos, you kind of get the picture. Something I'd also like to see as a physical change we're able to make is being able to change the look of your crew. Having a little menu like in Assassin's Creed Odyssey where you can just drop down and pick a different theme for your crew would be awesome. Like, imagine having SAF forces waiting to greet you when you return home from a mission, or a group of scientists if you want to embrace kind of the more roleplay aspects of the game. The crew skins wouldn't provide any buffs, so it's not like players need to like min-max any designs. They just pick what they think is cool. I think it would go a really long way in making the player feel like they're truly the boss of the Super Destroyer. And to end off the physical customization aspect, I have a few just tiny things that I think they should add that would make the Super Destroyers pretty cool. First, I'd like to see a room where you can see like all of your achievements and medals and all the ranks you've earned and stuff like that, your total statistics. I know you can see that in the options menu, but getting to see it in game I think would be so much cooler. I'd also like to just see a small training room where players can use any weapon or stratagem in the game, whether or not they have it, and just test it out against bugs to see if it's fun or not, or bots or eliminate, whatever they choose. But I think that'd be really cool and go a long way to just help the Super Destroyer feel more interesting. One idea that kept popping into my mind while I was making this video is the idea of crew allocation. Since the Super Destroyer is a relatively small ship, I'd imagine it doesn't have a very big crew. From what we can see, only a few people work in each department, and at max, I'd assume it can only have around 40 to 50 people on board. I think the player should be able to dictate where those personnel end up. Allocating more personnel to parts of the ship would provide buffs, while understaffing a section would give penalties. This would allow the player to pick and choose the departments that complement their playstyle. Each department would have a minimum and maximum amount of crew, so the player couldn't just take all the crew and stuff it into one department. But I do think that they should be rewarded if they end up putting the maximum amount of crew in each department. I have a few different ideas of how something like this could be used in game, so we're just going to go through them. So my first thought was an Eagle support bay, which each additional crew member will decrease Eagle rearm time, and if you go out a way to maximize it, all Eagle stratagems will carry 2 additional charges. The second idea I had was an orbital munitions section, where each crew member would increase the accuracy of the other orbital barrage stratagems and the armor penetration of all other orbital stratagems. And the maximum crew buff would just double the amount of shots from the Super Destroyer for any orbital stratagem. The third idea was the bridge, which would increase the range of all Helldivers radars and also increase the radius in which you can detect enemies. And the maximum crew buff, which would be extremely overpowered, but it would take a lot of crew to maximize the bridge, would be the entire map becomes visible along with all points of interest and side objectives. My fourth and final idea for this video would be a mechanics bay, which is pretty simple. It just decreases the call-in times and health of defensive stratagems, and the maximum buff would increase turret attack speed by 100%, making them pretty overpowered. The idea is that you would not be able to get any of the maximum buffs without severely understaffing at least one other department on the ship, which would hopefully help to balance out the absurdity of the buffs, but I feel like this would provide a huge amount of technical flexibility in game. Just imagine being on a mission, wiping out every enemy in sight with Eagle stratagems, only to realize a massive horde snuck up on you because you understaffed the bridge and you weren't getting accurate radar data. The final part of a Super Destroyer update that I would like to see would be a returning mechanic from Helldivers 1, upgrading your stratagems and weapons. In the first game, you were able to spend samples to upgrade individual stratagems or weapons, similar to the module system we have now, but a lot more customizable. It was a really great system that allowed players to make builds that they enjoy as powerful as possible. I think that weapon customization in the game is fine at the moment, but I would like to be able to upgrade my stratagems to make them objectively better than before. before. For example, maybe we could have an upgrade to turrets that surround them with barbed wire, which would slow and damage small to medium enemies. Or we can make orbital gas and smoke stratagems ignitable with a flamethrower, though that second one is pretty unlikely. Also, as a small side note, I really would like to see a return of the lore console from the first Helldivers, a place that details not only the lore of all the enemies encountered on the battlefield, their weaknesses and their strengths, but also the lore and history of Super Earth as told by Super Earth. And the other factions would also be pretty cool too. In the spirit of not making this video far longer than it needs to be, I'm just going to end it here. I'd love to hear what kind of Super Destroyers upgrade you guys would want to see. I tried to keep most of my ideas feasible for a system that Arrowhead might add in the future. However, I do have a huge list of other major changes to full reworks that I would love to see in Helldivers, but I think are pretty unlikely. If this video does well, I might cover some of those in the near future, so keep an eye out. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.